They didn't just live beside the Mississippi. They became the river. Its rhythm shaped their hearts. Its power forged their destiny. Welcome to Native American Origins, where the forgotten nations of North America breathe again through story and sound. Today, we follow the mighty Mississippi, the lifeline of ancient tribes who built, prayed, and dreamed along its endless flow. Long before any map drew its winding course, the Mississippi carved a living world across the heart of a continent. Its waters carried songs, memories, and generations. To the tribes who settled along its fertile banks, the Choctaw, Natchez, Tunica, Illiniwek, and others, the river was more than a boundary. It was a teacher, a provider, a spirit. They learned its moods, when to fish, when to plant, when to move. Morning mist wrapped the villages like a blanket of dreams, and the sound of paddles dipping into the current echoed like the heartbeat of the earth. Here, children learned not just to walk, but to listen. The river taught them patience, balance, and respect, that every drop, every breeze, every bird had its own purpose in the cycle of life. If you followed the river's bends, you would find sacred earthworks rising from the floodplains, mounds built by human hands, thousands of years before modern time. These weren't just burial sites. They were temples, observatories, and symbols of the people's faith. Each one told a story of creation, of ancestors, of renewal. From their heights, you could see miles of shimmering water, a vast mirror of heaven and earth. To climb a mound was to step closer to the divine. The people believed that as long as these mounds stood, their connection to the spirit world would never fade. The Mississippi was North America's great highway, a living artery connecting hundreds of tribes across the land. Canoes glided along its surface, carrying copper from the Great Lakes, shells from the Gulf, obsidian from the West, and stories that bound distant nations together. At trading villages, laughter and languages mixed. Goods changed hands, and so did wisdom. The Tunica became known as master traders, their canoes loaded with pottery, herbs, and woven mats. The Natchez built towering temples for their ruler, the Great Sun, whose light was said to shine with the power of both king and god. The river didn't divide people. It united them. Each bend in its course was a meeting place, a chance for new alliances and friendships. The river remembers every voice that ever called its name. If you're still listening, you're part of its story too. Subscribe to Native American Origins and follow the flow deeper into America's first civilizations. Life along the Mississippi was both simple and profound. The people rose with the sun, and their days unfolded like the current, steady, purposeful, alive. Women tended fields of corn, beans, and squash, the sacred Three Sisters, their songs rising with the morning breeze. Men crafted tools from bone and stone, or hollowed great trees into canoes that would carry them across endless miles of water. Children played near the shores, chasing dragonflies and skipping stones, while elders gathered by the fire, telling stories of floods and stars and spirits. At dusk, the air filled with the hum of insects and the crackle of flame. Villages glowed softly against the twilight, and the Mississippi reflected the starlight, as if the sky had come down to rest in its arms. To these tribes, the river wasn't just water, it was spirit incarnate. They believed that beneath its surface lived the forces that govern the world. Water spirits, ancient and wise, could bring both life and destruction. Ceremonies were held at dawn and dusk. Elders sprinkled tobacco into the waves as an offering. Prayers rose like mist, asking for calm waters, fertile crops, and long life. The Choctaw told of a serpent spirit that guarded the river's balance. The Tunica honored the Sun Father, believing his light traveled through the river's currents to renew all things. Every ripple, every reflection carried sacred meaning. Then came the strangers. First, faint sails in the distance. Then steel, gunpowder, and disease. The river tribes, once free and vast, faced an unimaginable storm. Trade turned to conflict. Alliances broke. Whole villages vanished under the weight of new empires. Yet the Mississippi endured, and so did the memory of those who lived by it. Their songs echoed in the current. Their stories survived in whispers carried by the wind. The river, though wounded, still flowed. It carried not just water, but the spirit of 1,000 generations who refused to be forgotten. Today, when archaeologists dig along the riverbanks, they find fragments of pottery, stone blades, beads of copper, traces of lives once vibrant and proud. But to the descendants of those tribes, the Choctaw, Natchez, Tunica, Illinois, these aren't relics. They're reminders that their ancestors still flow within them. Every year, ceremonies are held to honor the river's spirit. Songs are sung in old languages. Hands touch the water with reverence, and prayers rise once again to the sky, asking for balance as their ancestors once did. The river still speaks, in the wind, in the rain, in the silence between waves. Its memory runs deep, carrying the wisdom of those who lived in harmony with the earth. If their story moved you, let it flow further. Subscribe to Native American Origins and help keep the voices of America's first peoples alive. For the river never ends, and neither should their legacy.